What's going on, everybody? What's happening? What's shaking? What's doing? Hope you're all doing well. Yes, Halloween 45. The 45th year anniversary is here. It's upon us. Are you going? Pasadena, California, September the 29th to October 1st, 2023. I thought I would jump on and talk to you guys and gals, and this is not new news. This is from a few days ago now. Maybe, was it last week? I think Sean Clark had posted something last week, and then a lot of the online horror publications picked it up there shortly thereafter. But I just want to jump on and kind of just talk a bit about this and my thoughts on it. I want to get your thoughts on it. After, if you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Are you going? Are you not going? Have you been before? Did you go to the 25th? Did you go to the 30th? Did you go to the 35th? Did you go to the 40th? And are you going to the 45th? Maybe you're a lifer. And you just go all the time. You just wait outside. You're in line. You don't shower. You don't shave. You don't shit. You don't pee. You're just outside in line smelling. Maybe that's what happens. I don't know. But I've only been to one, and it was the 40th in 2018. But before we talk all about this and whatnot, let's jump over to the other screen here. Oh, let me make sure there is audio as well. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, good. There is audio. All right. Let me move my little self to the other side of the screen over here. And this comes to us from Bloody Disgusting. And the one and only John Squires. Of course, I think he's just sort of relaying sort of the information that was already posted in the press release. But nonetheless, here it is. There it is. Halloween 45 Years of Terror event. The 45 Years of Terror event slashes into the Pasadena Convention Center in 2023. This year marks the 45th anniversary of John Carpenter's game-changing horror classic Halloween, and BD, Bloody Disgusting, has learned that the special event Halloween 45 Years of Terror is set to take place over Pasadena, California. Should be in Pasadena, California. Shouldn't it be? Maybe I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, in Pasadena, California from September 29th through October 1st, 2023. Every 5 years since 2003, fans from the Halloween franchise have traveled across the globe to celebrate one of the most endearing, imposing, and enduring. I thought that was two endearings there for a minute. Maybe it is me. I'm having a brain fart. I was going to be like endearing, imposing, and endearing. Yes. I got a double. No. Endearing, imposing, and enduring horror movie franchises of all time. John Carpenter's Halloween premiered in cinemas and on drive-in screens 45 years ago, changing the landscape of horror cinema forever. For this special anniversary convention event, the producer of the Halloween franchise, Trancas International Films, is once again teaming up with Sean Clark, who helped organize the Halloween conventions with the 25th anniversary in 2003, as well as the 30th, 2008, 35th, 2013, and 40th, 2018. Horror Hound Limited also returns after having helped put on the successful H4O event in 2018. Horror Hound are responsible for the Midwest events Horror Hound Weekend, which aim to deliver what is sure to be the largest Halloween convention to date. Celebrity guests, including directors, stars, and crew from all 13 Halloween films, are set to be in attendance as H45 takes over the Pasadena Convention Center. The team previews, quote, "We expect the largest selection of vendors any prior Terror convention has provided, including notable Halloween licenses and some of the most notable artists in the ever-growing gallery scene. There will be a number of not-to-be-missed events, including the highly anticipated return of the Horror's Hallowed Grounds filming location tour, galleries, exciting social media, photo displays, cast Q&As, lots of exclusive H45 and Halloween merchandise offerings, and professional photo opportunities." Quote, make sure you bookmark the official website, www.halloween45.com, as the page will soon begin to populate with guest, artist, and vendor reveals, programming information, and additional surprises the promoters are hard at work finalizing. Not to mention discount hotel block options yet to be launched. And, of course, ticket launch information and details regarding new and exciting ticket package opportunities. There it is right there, folks. Halloween 45 Years of Terror, September the 29th through October the 1st, 2023 in Pasadena, California, just outside of Los Angeles proper. And at the Pasadena Convention Center, 300 East Green Street, Pasadena, California. I'm assuming the E means East. It usually does. 91101. There you have it, folks. There you have it. Anything else left here? No. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So there you go, folks. There you go. Halloween 45 Years of Terror. Are you going? Are you excited? Do you want to go? What are you looking forward to? Who do you want to meet? Now, I've been asked quite a bit over the last a little bit since this was announced. Will I be attending the 45th anniversary convention in Pasadena, California? I would love to. I would love to be able to attend. I attended the 40th in 2018, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to attend this one because if all goes well, with the Indiegogo campaign for It's Me, Billy Chapter 2, which is launching on May 1st, we will be well into pre-production for It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 at that time. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't be able to escape for, 3 or 4 days and go to the Halloween 45th anniversary convention. That doesn't mean that. But if we are in pre-production, depending on what's going on with me at that time, I might not be able to. And I might not be able to for, I don't know, maybe I get sick or something and I have a cold. I don't know, or I'm, I got the flu. Who knows? But in a perfect world, everything is fine. I would absolutely love to go, but I just don't know if I'm going to be able to make it this year. We'll see though. We'll see, right? We'll see. We'll cross our fingers. I did attend the 40th anniversary back in 2018, and that was a blast. I had a lot of fun with that. That was so much fun. And I had never, I'm not a convention goer. There's a lot of conventions in the US. There seems to be 5 horror conventions, every day. It's crazy. I've been to the big one here in Toronto is Fan Expo. I think that's actually one of the largest in North America, believe it or not. I think it's the 3rd largest or something. You got Comic-Con and then something else. And then I think Fan Expo in Toronto. Over the 4 days, we got 200,000 people. It's crazy. So I've been there. I've been to that one a couple times. That's where I first met Nick Castle back in 2015. Sweetheart of a guy. And that's a lot of fun. And full disclosure, I don't usually go to, I've only been to a few, but I don't usually go to the conventions to meet celebrities. I find I just like to go and sort of soak up the atmosphere and check out the t-shirts and the trinkets and the doodads and the vendors, all that kind of stuff. That's what I really am kind of more interested in, to be honest with you, unless there's somebody there that I'm like, oh my God, I've got to meet them. Do you know what I mean? And for me in 2015, that was Nick Castle. I was like, oh my God, Nick Castle, original Michael Myers. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I got to go meet him. So, and it was really fun. And again, this is Fan Expo here in Toronto in 2015. I got there really early and his table, there was nobody there. And he was just sitting there. I think I was so early, nobody was so I walked up to him and we shot the shit for 20 minutes because there was nobody there. So, had there been people in line, I would be taking up his time and I would be preventing him from making moolah from the other people in the line. And I would never have done that, but there was nobody there. So I went up and I shot the shit with him and and I got his autograph and a photo, paid for, the photo, of course. And then people started to kind of line up behind me, and I was like, okay, that's my cue. I'm out of here. But really nice guy. And to be able to talk with him for about 20 minutes or so was really, really cool. He was very nice, and just, really awesome. At the 40th in Pasadena, I did make my rounds to meet different people, but that was primarily because, well, at this time, now I have a YouTube channel. Now, in 2015, I had a YouTube channel as well. I've had this channel since 2006, but I didn't start doing this kind of thing until about 2017. So in 2015, I wasn't, it was all for me. In 2018, when I went to the 40th, I was there really for you guys. I mean, I was there for me too, but I was also there for you guys. I was also cognitive and aware that I had to capture a lot of stuff for the channel, for you guys, right? For all of you who couldn't go or who couldn't be there for whatever reason. So I did meet a lot of different people, and that was fun. And I have to upload, I have a great, hilarious conversation with Rick Rosenthal and Nancy Stevens, because they're married. I don't know if you guys know that, but Marion Chambers, that's right, Marion Chambers from Halloween, I believe anyway, I think she's married to Rick Rosenthal, director of Halloween 2 and Halloween Resurrection. And they were there, and I walked over to them, and I have this, I can't believe I haven't posted this. I've got it somewhere. This clip where we were just shooting the shit for a minute. Again, there was nobody in line. I would never take up somebody's time if, there were people in line, right? But they were just kind of there shooting the shit, chilling, relaxing. And I went over to them, and I did a little bit of an interview, but we just kind of shot and there was something funny that happened, and we were both just the three of us were howling, and I forget what it was now. But anyway, I have to find that and post it because it's really good. But a lot of fun, I had a lot of fun. And of course, meeting some of you guys, was really fun. I mean, just being there and walking around the convention and meeting other Halloween fans and people who watched the channel. I mean, I have no doubt there were probably some people that saw me from afar were like, hey, there's that fucking Dave McRae, that piece of shit. No, don't go over to him. He's a fucking loser. I can't stand that guy. I mean, I'm sure there were a few of you guys there too. But everybody that came up to me was very nice. And I appreciate that very much. And I had a blast. It's a lot of fun being in that environment. I think, somebody earlier before we started the stream, and fair point, I totally get it, but somebody had said, and I will get to your super chats, by the way, if you want to send in super chats, please do. I will get to them. Don't worry. So I will get to yours, Badass Ninja, here in a second. But Dan Georgetown said, I went to the 30th. So he went to the 30th in 2008. And he says, but don't see any reason to go more than once. After you make the rounds and meet all the actors, not really any point to do it again. And that's a fair point. And I can understand how a lot of people might feel that way. I mean, you've been to one, you've met everybody. It's expensive. It's not cheap, especially if you're coming from out of town. You got airfare and hotel and tickets and food, and it can be expensive, and then of course, that's not even including the money you're going to spend at the convention between the photographs and the autographs and the trinkets and the doodads and the t-shirts and the, whatever else you're going to buy. So, totally understand that. I get that. I think for a lot of people though, especially when we're talking about the horror community, right? And the Halloween community, it's a sense of community, right? It's a sense of belonging. So you go just to be in the environment, you go to be in the environment, to soak up the atmosphere, to look at the t-shirts. Maybe there's a t-shirt you see that, you've never seen before. Like, oh dude, I actually really like that. Oh fuck, that's only $15. You know what? I'm going to get it. You know what I mean? Or a hoodie or, whatever. Or there's somebody there, you're like, oh, they're here? Oh shit, I actually have never met them before. Whatever the case is, right? Totally. So totally. But I do understand why they're, because I've actually thought of that myself, that there has to be a large portion of these people. Like Nick Castle is a busy man. He's a busy convention man. And he goes to a lot of conventions. And there's got to be repeats. Like there's got to be people that have met him 14 times. I mean, there has to be. How many people are going to these things for the first time? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot. Of course, there's a lot of people in the world. Of course, there's a lot. But there's got to be a lot of repeats, right? You know, you would think anyway. But if you've never been, and again, I've only been once, I went to the 40th, but a lot of fun, really nice people. There was no issues. There was no drama. That doesn't mean there can't always be. I know there's been some drama at conventions in the past. But there was nothing there like that. It was a sense of community, belonging, and just meeting fans and being in that environment, I think was a lot of fun. I think I had a lot of fun. I went both days. I went, the Saturday, Sunday, and I had a blast. And it was so, I've said this before, but it was so, and it makes sense, obviously, because you're in a Halloween convention. It would happen to me. It would happen to Lee McCoy. It would happen to Jimmy Champagne. It would happen to Wolfman's. It would happen to anybody who's known for Halloween content. But it was a new experience for me because as a voice actor, I'm largely anonymous, right? You might know my voice, but you don't necessarily know my face. So to be in that environment and to have all sorts of people coming up to you was really cool. It was, I mean, I had a lineup. I kid you not. I had a lineup of like 8 or 9 people, and Cecil Laird, who I met for the very first time, was like, dude, do you want a table or something? Like, you know what I mean? It was hilarious. And of course I take my time when I meet people, right? So a line was forming. It was actually kind of funny. But it was just cool to meet everybody. It was cool to meet you and to share in our mutual obsession of the Halloween franchise, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know what I'm talking about? It was a lot of fun to do that. So I had a blast. And if I can go to the 45th anniversary convention, 45 years of terror, I will. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to because of where we're going to be at with It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 and what exactly is happening during the pre-production process. But it's fun. If you've never been, it's a lot of fun. If you've never been to a convention, it's a lot of fun. Now, what's really cool is that there's pop culture conventions like Comic-Con, right? Where anything and everything is there. You got all the superheroes, you got the horror, you just got everything, right? Then there's specific horror conventions. And this is even smaller, more niche. This is Halloween only. There ain't no Elm Street, there ain't no Friday, there ain't no Scream, there ain't no Terrifier. I mean, that doesn't mean you might not see, something, right? There are horror vendors that do show up at these. I mean, it's not that general horror vendors do attend as well, but obviously there is a heavy focus on Halloween. And that's what's really cool about it. So in other words, it's all Halloween alum. Like, it's not like you're going to get it Friday alum, Elm Street alum. It's all Halloween. And it's really cool. And to be in that environment, to share is really awesome. So if you can afford it and you want to go, I recommend it, especially for the 45th. I mean, it's, they do it every 5 years. I can't even imagine what the 50th is going to be like in 2028. That's going to be crazy. Ooh, what kind of craziness is going to be, there. And also too, even though I haven't taken it myself because I've gone around on my own to all of the shooting locations for the original Halloween films, I do recommend, because I've heard good things, to take Sean Clark's Horror's Hallowed Grounds, I think I'm saying that right, bus tour. I'm assuming he's doing the bus tour. I think that's what the article said, is back. And of course that will be maybe the Friday probably, where you meet in a location, you get on the bus and you go to the original shooting location. So you go to the Myers house, you go to the Doyle house, the Wallace house, the Strode house, it's cool. And so if you've never been to Los Angeles and you've never been to Hollywood or Pasadena and you don't know your way around and you don't know where to go and it's a little intimidating, I recommend that because it's all taken care of for you. And then of course you got Sean Clark, who's your tour guide. Who better to be your tour guide? I mean, maybe me. No, I'm just kidding, Sean. No, seriously, who better to do it, right? I mean, he's been doing it for years. It's such a, he's dialed in, right? There's a rhythm, there's a routine that he's got locked down. And it didn't say anything about this in the article, and I don't want to say that this is definitely going to happen, but I know in years past, sometimes a Halloween alum tags along. So maybe I think there's even video online from years ago where Charles Cyphers was part of the tour. You know what I mean? So maybe maybe Tommy Lee Wallace will be there, or maybe Nick Castle will join. Or I don't want to say they will. I'm just saying it's not unprecedented. Sometimes, sometimes there might be a surprise, guest in there too. You never know. But of course, I'm sure Sean will be talking more about it on his channel, Malfunction. And of course, on the podcast, The Thing with Two Heads with Christopher Nelson. I'm sure they'll be talking about it all, and they'll be talking about all the details that, have yet to come out, right? And of course, keep checking back to Halloween45.com for the announcements for the guests and the vendors and all those kinds of details. But yeah, if you've never been and you don't know your way around, that's a good thing to do because, like I said, it's taken care of for you. So that would be a lot of fun as well. But yeah, 45 years of terror, folks. 45 years of terror. Hard to believe. So listen, if you're watching after the fact, comment below and let me know your thoughts. Are you going? Are you not going? Are you excited about it? Do you not care about it? Are you like Darren from Georgetown? Or Darren Georgetown, maybe you are from, but anyway, Darren Georgetown is like, I've been, don't really feel, I don't need to go. And that's fair. That's totally fair because everybody goes for different reasons, right? Everybody's reasons for going to wherever vary greatly, so maybe you're somebody that gets a thrill about meeting the same people 14 times. Maybe you're, and that's fair. That's not right or wrong. It's totally fair, right? And then there's some people like, you know what? I've been there. I've done it. I've ridden the roller coaster. I've been to the park. I've experienced it. I got it. I'm good. I got the autographs on my wall. I got the photos. I'm good. Have fun, guys. And that's fair too, right? That's fair too. Comment below and let me know your thoughts about the 45th anniversary convention in Pasadena, California. Let's jump over to the chat room for a little bit here and see what you guys are saying. The Badass Ninja Chris sends in $5. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. And says, I'm definitely going. Awesome stuff. That's what they like to hear. This year will be fun. Next month, I am seeing Carrie Underwood in concert for the first time. She's one of my favorite singers. Very cool. Well, have fun, Chris. Have fun, my man. Make sure you get the t-shirt or something or get lots of photos. And then there was another super chat. I thought there was. Yeah, right here. Don't want to miss it. Norris sends in $9.99. Thank you, Norris. Appreciate the super chat. And says, hey, Dave, would you expect Nick Castle and John Carpenter to be in Pasadena? I'm thinking about skipping Texas Frightmare and waiting for H45 to see them. I really want their autograph. Thanks. Okay. Nick Castle will definitely be there. I mean, pending any sort of reason why he couldn't. He's sick or, he's got the flu. Who knows, right? But yes, he will definitely be there. I mean, I am fully confident in saying that. John Carpenter, I don't know. John Carpenter was not at the 40th. So I wouldn't hold my breath for John Carpenter to be at the 40th. Now, he might be. But it's still too early to tell. But Nick Castle, oh yeah, he's going to be there for sure. Now, are John Carpenter and Nick Castle supposed to be at Texas Frightmare? Because if that's been confirmed that Carpenter will be there, then you might want to consider taking that. Or unless you can hold off a little bit. I don't know when Texas Frightmare is, so I don't know if you have to purchase the tickets now or if this is like a decision you have to make now. If not, and you got like time, I would wait. Wait on it and see what kind of guests, get revealed. But John Carpenter, yeah, I mean, let's just say he wasn't at the 40th. And that was the year that Halloween was returning to the big screen and he wasn't there. Now, I don't know why he wasn't there. Maybe he wasn't there because he was sick. I don't know. But he wasn't there. And so I wouldn't hold my breath on John. But Nick Castle, oh, yeah. He'll be there for sure. Super chat from Edward Nito sends in $10. Thanks, Edward. Says, sup, Dave? I'm at work, so I'll catch the show later. I live in San Diego, so I'll do my best to make the drive to Pasadena to catch the convention. Cheers. Yeah, hey, well, you know what? You're not that far. Far. I sound like I'm from different. You're not that far, is what I was trying to say. Yeah, you're what, like 4.5 hours, 5 hours, maybe. You're not that far, so you don't have to worry. Well, yeah, I guess if you're 4 hours or whatever, you might want to make it a weekend trip and get a hotel. I was just going to say that you don't even have to get a hotel, but if it's 4 hours one way, yeah, yeah. Unless you can stay with friends or something that you know in the area, that might be cool. But cool, that's very cool. Chase Jackson sends in $9.99. Thanks, Chase, and says, "Hey, Dave, I'm going to try my best to attend the 45th convention despite living across the country. One of the biggest reasons is because I know some of the original cast is getting up there in age." That is true. That is true. And that's true. I mean, that's just a reality, right? You know, whether it's Nick Castle, whether it's Dick Warlock, whether it's Charles Cyphers, whether it's, well, I mean, all of them. I mean, they're all up there in age. You know, they're all, I think they're all, like, I'm trying to think. Yeah. They're all up there. I mean, you know, apart from Will Sandon, who was 6-year-old Michael, I mean, they're all, I think, at least in their, like minimum, at least in their 60s. Nick Castle is in his 70s. Tommy Lee Wallace is probably in his 70s. I know Dick Warlock's in his 80s. You know, but some of the women, like some of the, you know, Pamela Shoop, and they might be in their 60s. But yeah, but to your point, yeah, it's true. I mean, they are getting, I mean, eventually they will not be here. And I know that sounds like sort of a, you know, not a nice thing to think about. They don't want to think about it, but I don't want to think about it either. It's just the reality of getting older, right? You know, and so yes, I mean, as we continue to move along here, if you are hell bent on getting a certain autograph, you might want to consider doing that. If you can't, for whatever reason, maybe there's somebody you know who is going, a friend that you have who is going, and they may be able to get that autograph for you. Now, obviously, to get it in person, you know, yeah, like to be there and to see them signing it and to get a photo, I totally get that. That's the ultimate goal, right? But if you can't for whatever reason, then I would advise just finding a friend who's going or a trusted individual who you know who's going to get an autograph for you at the very least. And then you have it, right? And then you have it. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, let's just put it this way. You know, we're at the 45th now. The 50th is in 2028. If there's a 55 and a 60, you know, there's going to be some people that aren't going to be there. If there ends up being a 60th anniversary convention 15 years from now, there's going to be some people that won't be there, right? You know, so now that's 15 years away, but I'm just saying, right? These only happen every 5 years, so it's not like it's every year. I get it, man. I get it. Let me see. Tim Line sends in $5. Tim Line is a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. Might go for my birthday. I'd love to see filming locations, especially the Hedge. Oh yeah, I think they do that. Now, Sean Clark would be able to, he'll talk, I know they definitely do the Myers house. I think they do the Hedge as well. I think they do. Because the Hedge is not that far from the Strode house, and I know they do the Strode house. So it's in the same area. And the Myers house is in the same area as the Strode house as well. So, and I think I don't know if Sean makes a stop at the Elm Street house because it's not Halloween related. I don't know if they make a stop at the Elm Street house or not, just because it's there. The Elm Street house is not that far from the Doyle house and the Wallace house. You could walk there if you had to. And I don't know if they just may, even though it's Elm Street, they may make a special stop just because it's right there. I don't know if they do that or not, but they're all close together. I mean, the Doyle house and the Wallace house and the Elm Street house are in West Hollywood, whereas No, I said that right. Yeah. The Elm Street house, the Wallace house, and the Doyle house are in West Hollywood, whereas the Myers house, the Strode house, and the Hedge are in South Pasadena. So they're not close to each other. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend it if you don't know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going and you've never been to Hollywood or LA or Pasadena, I would definitely recommend it, because then you're going to get it. Yeah. There's a video on my channel. If you YouTube Dave McRae Elm Street house to Doyle house or something like that, I forget what I label the video as. But if you YouTube that, I show you in real time. This is from 2019, I think, or 2018. I show you in real time a drive from, now mind you, it was early in the morning, so there was some traffic, but you literally, I think the Elm Street house is on Genesee Avenue, if I'm not mistaken. You literally drive down Genesee like 30 seconds and you come to Sunset Boulevard. You turn left on Sunset. You drive literally like another 30 seconds and then you turn, I can't speak today. And then you turn right onto Orange Grove. I think it's Orange Grove. And now you're on the Halloween Street where the Doyle house is. Like, it's literally like a minute and a half drive. It's so, they're so close to each other. It's crazy. But yeah, no, I would do that. It's fun. It's fun and it's cool. It's cool to be there. I've been there many times. Matthew Farisi sends in $9.99. Thank you, Matthew, and says, I'm hoping to go. Got some saving up to do. This will probably be the only time I get to. I'll be one of those people waiting in line to meet some of them. Could be the only time I get the chance. It's very true, Matthew. It's very true. It may be the only time, Now, keep in mind, I mean, if you're, because you're going to have celebrities and guests from all 13 Halloween films. So you're going to have, people from Nick Castle and Dick Warlock, all the way up to fucking Tyler Mane, all the way to James Jude Courtney, and maybe even Andy Matichak, and who knows, maybe even oh God, what's her face? Judy Greer, or who knows? Maybe even Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know. You never know. Probably not. She's probably too good for it now. I'm an Oscar nominee. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Okay, have I got all the super chats? I don't think I've missed any. I don't think so. Oh, here comes Movie Chat and More Part 2 sends in £5. Thanks, Movie Chat and More, and says, hi, Dave. What is the best way to clean a Blu-ray disc? The thin microfiber cloths have smears. The thick ones have little dots on the disc. Help. I usually clean it with a microfiber. I usually clean a disc. The little cloth that comes with your glasses? If you go to the optometrist and you get new glasses and you get the case, you'll often get like a cloth with it. That's what I usually will use. I will start by just going, and it usually works. Because my discs are not, they may have like a fingerprint or two on it, but I keep my discs in fantastic condition. I don't leave my disc out of the case. I take it out of, the player, put it into the thing. I'm very particular like that. Even when I used to buy a lot of physical media from the store, I would pick it up, and if the disc was loose, because we've all had that, right? Where, you pick it up from the shelf and you hear, the disc. I don't get it. I'm like, nope. No, because I will go for the one behind it to see. Okay, no, that's better. I'm very particular that way. So very few of my discs ever have scratches. Scratches, there's not much you can do. There's some stuff I think you can buy that might be able to help with a little bit, like certain sprays and things like that. But in terms of fingerprints, just like clean the disc, just and that cloth that you get from the optometrist, because it's specifically designed to not scratch, because it's supposed to go on your lenses, right? So I've never had an issue, and it works like a charm for me anyway. That's what I would use. Da, 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 da. Oh, thanks, Chris. Hey, Chris Baber, one of our great mods here. Thank you, Chris. Days visit. Click the link to see the Doyle Elms. Thanks, Chris. Is that the right one? Let me see here. Yes, that's it. Yeah, it's called Elm Street House to Doyle House from Halloween in Real Time. That's it. This is from 20. When is this from? 2019. It's from 2019. Yeah, cool. Yeah, check that out. It's fun. It's fun. I thought that said Burt Young for a minute. I was like, hey, Paulie! Burt Young sends in $4.99. Thank you, Burt. Appreciate that. Says, what are your thoughts on the likeliness we will see Andy Matichek, Jamie Lee Curtis, Danielle Harris, or Paul Rudd at age 4-5? Met you at age 4-0. Love your channel. Very cool. Very cool. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad we met. That's very cool. Okay, well, I will just say this. I can't say anything about this because, so Andy Matichek, I don't know. I think there's a good chance that Andy Matichek will be there. I think there's a very good chance. So we'll start with her. I think there's a good chance. Will she? I don't know, but I think there's a good chance. Jamie Lee Curtis, the probability is low. However, there's a little star beside that because it is the 45th anniversary. However, she also wasn't at the 40th anniversary either, and that she had a fucking movie to promote that year. Halloween was back. She was back. So if she wasn't at the 40th, why would she be at the 45th? There's no Halloween film coming out this year, right? I mean, you think if anything, she would have been at the 40th. 40 years, nice round number. She's got a movie coming out in, I don't know, a couple of weeks. Do you know what I mean? It's a Halloween movie. She's back. The hype is real. You could feel the energy in the room. Nope. She's only done one, and that was in 2012, 35th, the night she came home. 2013, excuse me. So I can't say too much. I have a little bit of knowledge about something that I don't want to say because I don't want to set unrealistic expectations. So I do have a little bit of knowledge on something, but I don't want to set unrealistic expectations. Let's just say that I think it's possible that Jamie Lee Curtis could be there. But because it's Jamie Lee Curtis and because she said she was only going to do one and because, she's an Oscar nominee, she's got other things. It would not surprise me if she wasn't there. It wouldn't surprise me. 45th or not, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But because of what I know, maybe, there's a possibility. But if that's the case, you'll know about it because they will reveal it. But I can't get into the details because I don't want to set unrealistic expectations. Just know that even with what I know, the probability is still low. So I wouldn't bet. Like if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet it. I'll just tell you that. I wouldn't bet it. But you never know. You never know. And then, of course, with Danielle Harris, definitely. She'll be there. Paul Rudd, I'm going to say no. Again, maybe, but he wasn't there at the 40th. He's never been to one. So why now? I don't see him. I don't see Paul Rudd being there. That doesn't mean he won't be, but your safe bets are, well, I can tell you right now, your safe bet, Danielle Harris, she's there. She's there locked and loaded, 100%. Andy Matichek, I think, is next likely. Then next likely is maybe Jamie Lee Curtis, only because of this thing that I know. But it's also very low at the same time. So just keep that in mind. Don't go out there now saying Dave McRae says it. No, it hasn't. No. I'm not. You guys know I don't bullshit you guys. If I was confident, I'd be like, you might want to go. I'm not confident. And it's because of the info that I have. So yeah, don't bet on that. But it's possible. It's possible. But just put a little star beside it. Don't, and then I think Paul Rudd would be last. I think there's a slim chance that Paul Rudd will be there, to be honest with you. I think so. And his line would be, the thing with Paul Rudd is a superstar, right? He's an A-list superstar. You could make the argument that even more so than Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, I'm not knocking Jamie Lee Curtis's star power. I'm not knocking her as an actress and what she's done. But Paul Rudd is Ant-Man, right? Paul Rudd was in Ghostbusters Afterlife. Paul Rudd has been in a lot of, a lot of sort of, popular comedies and films. He's an A-list star. So you don't just have Tommy Doyle from Halloween 6 there. You've got Ant-Man sitting behind there. And that's a whole other level of, okay, we don't just have Tommy Doyle from Halloween 6, we have Ant-Man here. So the lineups could be, because people don't just want to meet him because of Tommy Doyle now. They want to meet him because he's fucking Ant-Man. He's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's fucking in Avengers Endgame. He's he's an A-list Hollywood, whereas most of the people at the Halloween conventions are not A-list celebrities, right? They are Halloween stars, but they're not necessarily movie stars, right? Whereas Paul Rudd, that's a different level. So that also, for him, he might be like, it adds a whole different layer of complexity to how to usher him in and around and his table and how to handle his table and all that kind of stuff. He might have the longest line. Usually Nick Castle has the longest line. You put fucking Ant-Man at that convention, he might have the longest line. So I doubt Paul Rudd will be there. I doubt it. So yeah. Now, you never know. You never know. Maybe in a couple of months, be like, holy shit, they're all going to be there. Wow. But I'm just saying, who knows? Who knows? You never know. Okay, I think I've got all the super chats, right? I haven't missed any. Just want to make sure I'm not missing any. Sebastian says, Dave, if they were to bring back Loomis, James McAvoy would be a good pick, but have you ever thought about Idris Elba? The race is different, but he got the accent. He could probably... Idris Elba would be great. Yeah, I don't care about the race. Who cares about that? But Idris Elba would be great. He'd be great, and he's the right age for it. McAvoy's my age. He's like 43. But that doesn't mean anything either. I mean, it depends on how you want to tell the story, right? And what the story is about. I mean, obviously, Loomis was 43 at one point, but in the original Halloween, Donald Pleasance, I think he's 59 or 58, 59. He's close to 60. So McAvoy, if you're somebody that wants to, play by strict rules that all the characters have to be the same age as well, then McAvoy's too young. But that does, I mean, why would you have to do that, right? If you're remaking something, well, then change it. He's younger. It's that simple. Yeah. Chris Baber says, Super Chat's covered. Thank you, Chris, my man, Chris Baber. Appreciate it, Chris. Marco says, Disney would never let Paul Rudd do a Halloween con. You best bet is Comic-Con. Yeah, it would depend, right? Disney doesn't really have a say in the sense of it would depend on what he was marketing, right? It would depend on it. I would be more concerned with his publicist and what his publicist and his manager would say, because that's what it really comes down to, because he's not there for Ant-Man, right? It's a Halloween convention, so he's being brought in specifically because of Halloween. What I'm saying is that because he's, he is Ant-Man, people see him as that. So people aren't just walking up to his table to get his autograph. Basically, people are probably not really walking up to his table to get his autograph for Tommy Doyle. I want to get fucking Ant-Man's autograph, right? I mean, that's really, and then it's almost cheating in some ways. And his table the line's going to be through fucking out the door, right? And whether or not he's able to have Ant-Man photos on his table wouldn't make much sense. Now, would it? Because he's not there for Ant-Man, right? So if you're expecting to get him to sign an Ant-Man photo, that likely wouldn't be the case, right? I don't think anyway. So I know what you're saying, but I don't think he would do it, not because he wouldn't be allowed, but because he just wouldn't want the headache. That's what I think. But that's me. That's me. I could be wrong. Maybe he'll be there. I have no idea. Oh, and by the way, I just want to say this there, because I mentioned it last night on the Two Dudes episode. I'm doing a voiceover workshop over Zoom this Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on both days. So 1 to 4 p.m. on Saturday, 1 to 4 p.m. on Sunday. An extremely discounted rate for my viewers, $125 USD, 125 US for both days. That's it. It's a rate that you can't get anywhere else, because I know that some people have asked about voiceover and wanting to know about the industry and all that kind of jazz. So this is a trial run. I'm doing it this Saturday and Sunday. The first day for 3 hours, we're going to learn about agents and demos and the industry and movie trailers and network promos and commercials, narration, animation, all that fun stuff. And then the second day, we're going to dive into some scripts and I'll give you some direction and you guys can read for me. And it's a lot of fun. So there's still some spots available. Most have been taken up, but there's still a few spots available. So if that interests you and you're like, oh, that would be kind of fun. That'd be kind of cool because I've always wanted to know about that side of the industry or voiceover or what have you, then send me a DM via my Facebook link in the description and we'll get you signed up. If you don't have PayPal, that's okay. If you want to play, let me try that again. If you want to play? No, if you want to play. If you want to pay by credit card or debit card, I will send you a link in order to be able to do that. And then it's taken care of. Just thought I would put that out there because there's still a few spots available and the workshop is this Saturday, Sunday over Zoom. So I will send everybody the Zoom link tomorrow evening. And then I will see you all on Saturday shortly before 1 p.m. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I decided to do this because I've been asked quite a bit over the years about voiceover and the industry and how it works. And what about this? What about agents? What about demos? What about managers? All that kind of jazz. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I hold a workshop and see if anybody's interested? And to my surprise, there's been quite a few people that have showed up, which is amazing. So if we can get enough people and it's a success, then I will hopefully do it again down the road. So if that interests you, like I said, send me a DM in the Facebook description below. Send me a DM via the Facebook link in the description below and we'll get you all set up. You won't be able to find a rate like this anywhere else. Trust me. This is special for my viewers, folks. Let me see. Marco says, I'd be getting him for Halloween 6 since I'm a huge fan, but I also love 40-Year-Old Virgin, Anchorman, Clueless. I love you, man. Plus all the Marvel. See, that's my point, right? I'm just basically saying that you don't like, when you look at Nick Castle, all you see is Michael Myers. When you look at Dick Warlock, that's what you see. When you look at even Jamie Lee Curtis in that environment, in your head, this is the same actress from True Lies and The Fog and Freaky Friday and A Fish Called Wanda and Trading Places and but because she's so identified with Halloween, it still works, right? But with Paul Rudd, he's not Tommy Doyle, right? He's fucking Ant-Man, and he's all those other things. And so his star power is too much for the Halloween convention. And that's why his line would be through the roof or out the door, so it can be tricky and he may not want that headache. And as much as the convention would love to have him there, they may not want that headache either. I'm just saying, but would Of course, it'd be amazing to have him there, but you don't just see Tommy Doyle when you look at Paul Rudd. That's my point, right? You know what I mean? It can get crazy. It can get crazy. Brett Young sends in $4.99 and says, any news on Dylan's New Nightmare? Can't wait to see it. Yes, so Dylan's New Nightmare, I don't have an exact date yet for the release, but Cecil tells me summer. So when in the summer, don't know yet. The film is still in post-production. You can expect a teaser and or a trailer in March or April. That's when I think you're going to get your first look sort of at what to expect. And that's all I know. That's all I know. I know that an assembly edit has been put together. I have seen it. And it's looking good. Now, I've seen it, though, without the VFX. I've seen it without the color grading. I've seen it without the sound design. I'm seeing it in its, raw form. It's just an assembly edit, but it's looking good. It's looking good. And so I'm thinking, sometime in the summer is when Cecil wants to release it. That's what he tells me. But an exact date yet? Don't have it yet. Don't have it yet. And thank you for the super chat, Brett. Appreciate it. Let's see here. David Irwin says, Dave, is it too late to order Dylan's New Nightmare on DVD? I don't think so. If you go to the Dylan's New Nightmare Indiegogo page, I don't have a link on me at the moment. Maybe somebody can throw it into the chat. But just go to Indiegogo or reach out to Cecil and ask for the link. And I think they're still raising funds. I think. But even if they aren't, reach out to Cecil and say, hey, man, I'd love to buy a Blu-ray or what. I don't know if they have DVDs. It might just be Blu-rays. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But reach out and ask. I don't think it's too late. I don't think anyway. Let me see here. Scrolling. Everybody's talking about Tommy Doyle. Oh, did I? Is my? I just noticed something. Is my autofocus on? My apologies if my autofocus is on. It is on. Fucking bastards. So if you've seen the camera go in and out throughout this show so far, my apologies. I've just turned it off. Spidey Fan 1993 says, Dave, did you meet John Carpenter at Toronto Fan Expo in 2012? I seen him there, but didn't have enough cash on me for an autograph. No, I didn't. I've only been, the very first Fan Expo I ever went to was in 2015. And I went in 2015. I went in 2016. And then again in 2018, I think. I've been 3 or 4 times. And like I said, the first year I went, I got Nick Castle's autograph because I wanted his. And then that same year, I also got Malcolm McDowell's autograph because he's a legendary actor but not because of Halloween. I was thinking more along, A Clockwork Orange kind of shit, right? So got his autograph and he personalized it as well to myself and my lady. And that's it. Those are the only 2 autographs I've ever gotten at a convention. I didn't even get any autographs when I was at the 40th. Like I didn't get anybody's. I'm not a big autograph person, and it could have something to do with the fact, and I don't know, I'm just shooting from the hip here. It might have something to do with the fact that because I work in the entertainment industry, I see a side of it. Like I see sort of behind the curtain a lot. And so to me, like it's still cool to meet people. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still cool to meet some people. It's like, holy fuck, that's fucking so-and-so. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, for sure. But it takes a lot for that to happen for me. So I just like being in the environment and meeting people and, saying hi and shaking their hand or whatever and that kind of thing. But everybody's different, right? Everybody's different. And so yeah, I've only ever gotten 2. Nick Castle I had to get because, the original Michael Myers, the original Halloween, my favorite horror movie, like it just made sense, it just made sense. But beyond that, I haven't. And not that I wouldn't, like I'm not against it or anything. I just haven't felt the need to or thought to do it. I remember being at a fan expo a few years ago when Mark Hamill was there. And I was like, oh, Mark Hamill might be kind of cool. You know, it's Star Wars. Like, fuck, it's Luke Skywalker, you know. But his lineup was like, 500,000 miles long. And I'm like, yeah, no. And then, with all due respect to Anthony Daniels, who plays C-3PO, he was at a fan expo and his line wasn't that long. And I was like, oh, Anthony Daniels. Well, that would be kind of cool. C-3PO. I mean, that's C-3PO. And, but he was charging like, it wasn't that, but it was something like $140 or 100 or 100 and it was something crazy. It was something crazy. And I'm like, yeah, no. Listen, Anthony, okay? It's a little self-indulgent, all right? I mean, what the fuck, man? What? You think you're Harrison Ford here? No. Okay? No. Sorry, Anthony. No, I'm not spending that much. No. Love you, buddy, but no. So I didn't bother. But yeah, I'm not big on that. I'm not big. It takes a lot to have me starstruck or to kind of feel the need to do that. But it's just me. I'm like, it's not right or wrong. It's just me, right? Everybody's different. Everybody is different. So no, I didn't meet him. I would have. Now again, because he's John Carpenter, if I was ever in a position where to do that, that would be something I was like, hey, I might have to stand in line for this because it's John Carpenter. You know what I mean? That would be cool. That would be cool. But no, I didn't even know he was there. But I wasn't into I wasn't up on conventions and what was going on and all that kind of shit at that time anyway. I didn't know about that shit. I didn't start to get into or know about conventions and the convention world until only about like I guess in 2015, So yeah, no, I didn't. I would have loved to though, meet John Carpenter. I think that would have been cool. Evil Alex says, Cecil seems like a very nice guy to work with, also very chill. He is. Oh, Cecil's fucking awesome. Cecil and I, the thing I love, like, there's just some people you meet that you just mesh with, and you just gel with. And if Cecil and I, if he had grown up here in Canada and had been a Canadian, or I had been born down there in Phoenix and, had been an American and we grew up, even if I had moved there as a kid or he had moved up here as a kid, whatever. Nationality has nothing to do with it. I'm just saying, right? Had we I can't talk today. It's crazy. Had we have met each other, I think I'm saying that right. When we were kids, we totally would have been friends. 100%. Like, had we met in high school? Oh yeah. 100%. Like, I love Cecil. He's so funny. And we share the same sense of humor. He busts my balls, I bust his balls, and it's all in good fun. And it's just so much fun. I loved working with Cecil, and he's a class act. He's a class act. So yeah, he's what you see, man. He's just a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun, and he's the kind of like. There's just certain people you meet, right? There's certain people you meet that you can joke around with, and they just get it. Right? They get it. They get that you're joking, or they get your sense of humor, or because they share the same kind of sense of humor. And that's what I love about him. He's just great, because not everybody's like that, right? Some people, you meet and, they don't get you. They don't get your sense of humor. And you're like, this is not going to work. I'm out, yeah. Cecil's awesome. Brian Sevilla says 140 for the Golden Butler. I don't know if it was 140. Don't quote me on that, but it was something like that. It was a price point where I was like, really? Like, what are you, Harrison Ford? Like, I'm like, what? I'm not, no. It was, whatever it was, I remember at the time. Now remember, this is like 4 or 5 years ago, but whatever it was, I remember in that moment, turning to, my lady, my girl, and being like, my wife, my girlfriend. I mean, technically we're not married, but we've been together for so long, but I remember turning to her and being like, I'm not, and even she was like, for C-3PO, and C-3PO is iconic. He's legendary, but it's like, for C-3PO? Like, So we both were kind of like, I don't think so. Love you, Anthony. It's C-3PO. It's C-3PO. But, I was like, yeah, I'd rather take that money and go buy like a Freddy glove or go buy a couple of hoodies or some t-shirts or like I'd rather spend it on the vendors. I just was like, it's too much for me. I mean, it's not that I couldn't afford it. I just didn't want to do that. I was like, no, I'd rather take it for that. No. But hey, if you're a diehard C-3PO fan, maybe it is worth it to you, right? Again, it's all relative, It's all relative. I just thought it was a little high for C-3PO. Brandon H. says, this is a good question. Says, Dave, if you're a betting man, would you bet on Tony Moran being at H45? I know a lot of stuff about Tony Moran that other people know as well, but a lot of people don't. I'm privy to certain information and that other people do know. I'm not the only one, but it's not like it's out there, although it might be out there soon. Let me just say, no, I don't think he will be there. I don't think he'll be there because of who's running it and who's putting it on. I don't think he'll be there. No. Now, that's not going to stop him from trying to be there. I think he's going to try and be there. And look, maybe something will happen that will get him in there. Maybe. But he wasn't at the 40th. I'm just saying, I go back to that. He wasn't at the 40th. Carpenter, Curtis, and Moran, now for very different reasons, of course, they weren't at the 40th. So just keep that in mind. Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis will definitely be there. She wasn't there at the 40th. And like I said, she had a movie she was promoting. Halloween 18, the return of Halloween, was 2 weeks away and she wasn't there, right? Same with Carpenter and he wasn't there. So, why would they come to the 45th? Because it's 45? Well, they weren't at the 40th. And they had more reason to be at the 40th, right? So, and Tony Moran is just he's a dumpster fire. I mean, it's just, he's got a lot of demons and a lot of behavior at certain conventions that has gotten him into some trouble. So, yeah. He's a liability. And the convention would not want to take that risk. He could show up and do the weekend and be absolutely fine, classy, polite, kind, and go off without a hitch. But it's not worth the risk. It's one thing when he's in a environment when there aren't other people around that have issues with him. But when you put him in an environment where there are other people that, then it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just, no, I don't think he's going to be there. He's too much of a liability in that situation, in that specific scenario, in my opinion. Super chat comes in from Amadusius, sends in $5. Thank you very much, and says, hey Dave, just wanted to say I am excited about the crowdfunding for It's Me, Billy 2. Let's get the film made. Cheers, man. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. That's right. It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 Indiegogo campaign, May the 1st. It's going to be running for 2 months, May the 1st. We're going to need your help, folks. We're going to need your help. We did it once before in the summer of 2020. We raised 64,000 Canadian dollars. $4,000 over our budget, which was great because, and trust me, it went all to good use. And I think 64,000 is about 48,000 US. And we're going to need to do it again. Again, I don't know what the budget's going to be yet, but I don't think it'll be any less than 60,000. So we can expect at least 60, if not probably a little bit more. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. Times are tough right now, but I believe we can do it. This community stepped up to the plate and made it happen. And I believe we can do it because we want to show you how it all ends. And the only way we can do that is if we raise the production budget, right? If we can't raise the money, then we can't shoot the movie. We've set a bar for ourselves and for fan films. as well, along with the likes of Never Hike Alone and all that kind of stuff. And so we have to meet that bar now, right? We can't deliver subpar quality. So as I've often said, hypothetically speaking, if we need to raise 80, but we only raise $5,000, we'll just refund everybody. You know, we can't shoot an $80,000 picture on $5,000, right? So it's very important that we come as close as we possibly can to our goal. And if we can reach our goal, which is the goal, then the campaign goes into demand. And then we can continue to raise funds after the fact and hopefully maybe even reach some stretch goals, which would be really nice too, right? So yeah, I appreciate you mentioning it, man. It's going to be tough, but I believe in this community that we can do it. So the Indiegogo campaign for It's Me Billy Chapter 2, May the 1st. Start putting some pennies into the piggy bank. Start putting those coins into into your sock drawer or whatever. Save up as much as you can to help us out. It would be greatly appreciated. And remember, if you can't for whatever reason, share it. When the Indiegogo campaign launches, share it around, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram. It goes a long way. You may not think it does, but it really does. Some people might think, oh, but why would I need to share it? I've only got 30 followers. Yeah, but do you know who those are? You never know who's watching. You never know who's following you. You never know who they know or what connections they have, and how you, just by that one share, you've been able to help us out because, somebody that saw your thing shared it with somebody else who saw us. And then all of a sudden there's somebody that's like, oh, you never know. You may not think it, but that's why people always say share, because it really does help. It really does help. So yeah, it's exciting. We're very excited about this. We really want to show you how this all ends. It's a dark film. Do I have the poster up here? I think I do. There's the poster right there. It's Me, Billy, Chapter 2 poster. And this is a darker, we pick up immediately where Chapter 1 left off. We don't fast forward 2 years into the future. No, we pick up right at that moment where Chapter 1 left off, and we continue on. It's darker, it's eerier, things are revealed, it's more intense. Imagine the second half of It's Me, Billy, Chapter 1, but all the way through Chapter 2 and even a little more intense than that. So it's exciting stuff. It's exciting stuff indeed. So appreciate the super chat. Appreciate the support, man. Really appreciate that. May the 1st, folks. May the foist. May the foist. Foist. Jack sends in hang on a sec here. I missed Chris Baber. I think it was Chris, right? Yeah, Chris Baber, my man, my mod, says one of the It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 perks will be a free membership to the Slaughtered Lambs OnlyFans. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. One of the perks will definitely be a free membership to the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast OnlyFans page, where you will be able to see incredible nude photos of Frank Riker's, well, I won't get into that. That's funny. Can you imagine? I wonder if anybody would pick it up and then be very disappointed that it was a joke. And somebody said, oh, I thought this was serious. That's why I got the perk. I was hoping for some like Frank and Darren nudity. That's too bad. That's too bad. Jack sends in $4.99 and says, what are the chances that Rowan Campbell will make an appearance? Would love to see it. I think there's a very good chance, actually. I think there's a very good chance that Rowan Campbell will be there. And I could see him being situated beside Andy Matichek. I could see that. Yep, I could see. I mean, usually they try to put the alum together. So, and there's some reasons maybe why they can't, but you'll probably, so it's easier for people to find, it's easier to navigate. You'll usually find, again, not all the time, but with my experience and what I've noticed, they'll put like the DGG trilogy, they'll put like, Courtney, Matichek, Campbell, whoever else, they'll kind of sit them kind of in a section together. And then, the Halloween 2 people will be over here. And now there may be some variables as to why they don't do that. And maybe you'll find Dick Warlock over here, and then you'll find, I don't know, somebody else over there. But generally speaking, I think they try to keep them together. But But yeah, I think there's a very good chance that Rohan Campbell will make an appearance. I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I think he's going to be quite popular too. I think he's going to be quite popular. For sure. Unimpressive Media sends in €5 and says, hey, Dave, the 40th anniversary of Elm Street is next year. Indeed it is. You think we'll hear anything regarding maybe a new box set or a convention? I don't think you will get a Elm Street convention. There's never been one before. I mean, maybe, but they've never done I don't think they have anyway, a specific Elm Street convention. So, I mean, there's a first time for everything, but you know, that doesn't mean they couldn't, but I don't think you're going to get that. I think you may get a box set of some kind. Obviously, I think you're going to see, if there's no convention, I definitely think you're going to see Robert picking up the pace and doing the rounds a bit more because it is the 40th anniversary. You might even see Heather Langenkamp appear at some of the alum from the original film and the original series, perhaps a bit more. Like, there definitely will be a celebration of sorts of the 40th anniversary of Elm Street. Whether there is an official celebration, like a convention dedicated specifically to Elm Street, I don't know. You might just get a celebration at a horror convention, so there's an acknowledgement and a celebration there. I could see that, but a specific Elm Street convention, I'm not sure. I don't think they've ever done one. I wonder if it would be as popular as Halloween. That would be interesting. I don't know. It's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. Let's talk movies, says, what's up, Dave? Haven't been able to catch a stream in a while. That's all right. We're busy bees, but wanted to stop in and say, hey, what's going on? Probably won't make it to the H45, but H50 sounds like a possibility. That one will be pretty awesome. Yeah, well, people got to do what they got to do, right? Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's just logistics. It's like, hey, no, I can't afford to go, but I can't go because I'm getting married, or I can't go because I know somebody who's getting married, or I can't go because I got, I'm going away that, day or whatever. Totally understand, right? There's different reasons why people can't go, or maybe sometimes people feel, no, I want to wait till the 50th, the 50th, half a century. Oh my God. For sure. No, I get it. Hopefully there will be one. I understand that. But they're a lot of fun. And I think they're probably even more fun, although I don't want to speak for anybody, but I think they're more fun in some ways than just a horror convention or a fan expo or a Comic-Con, because especially if you're a Halloween fan, right? If you're a diehard that's who it's for. It's for the diehard Halloween fans. So it's targeting not just the horror fan, but because, look, there's a lot of people out there that are horror fans, love horror movies. They don't give a shit about Halloween. They're not going to show up at this. Why would I go to this convention? I don't like Halloween. I don't care about Michael Myers. I'm a horror fan. Yeah, I love horror movies. But Texas Chainsaw is my jam, or Freddy's my jam, or Jason's my jam. Whatever. Michael, I care about Michael as much as everybody cares about, I don't know, Pumpkinhead. Do you know what I mean? Those people exist. So they're not going to go to the convention, right? It's definitely specifically targeted to the uber Halloween fanatic. And there's something to be said. When I was there, because I had already been to a couple of fan expos, and when I was there, it was definitely a different feeling because it was so targeted. And you knew that everybody there had the same passion as you. You're all there for the same reason. So that energy and that vibe and celebrating together in that environment is really cool. It's a really cool thing, I think. Anyway. I think it's cool. For sure. All right, we'll go another 15 minutes. We'll take this to 90 minutes. I think that's good. I sometimes will go for 2 hours, but today I think we'll do 90 minutes maybe. I mean, unless suddenly the conversation picks up and we're really into something. Jack says, "What about Brian Andrews? I don't remember exactly, but there was some controversy when Kills came out." Well, Brian Andrews he was at the 40th, by the way. He was there. I remember seeing him. I didn't meet him, but I remember seeing him sort of off to the side. I mean, it's possible he could be there, but Brian Andrews, for those of you that don't know, I assume he still is. I don't know what his current situation is. He's going through a lot. He's dealing with a lot. I know some people follow him on Facebook, and he was airing a lot of dirty laundry about his mother on Facebook. I think his mother was being taken care of and had like a caregiver that wasn't doing well, and he recorded the phone conversations and was releasing them online for everybody to hear. And it was just a bad kind of look. And he was going to lose his apartment, and he needed a job, and he needed money. And I think somebody tried to start like a GoFundMe or something. Now, this is like 2 or 3 years ago. But he's been in a bad spot. And one of the things I think around kills that you know, if you don't work in the industry or you don't understand, people were like, well, why would they hire Anthony Michael Hall? Why not hire Brian Andrews? Fuck that. Where's Brian Andrews? Number one, Brian Andrews, as I just said, he's not well. He's not. Now, I don't know what he's like now, but at that time, he was going through an enormous amount of stress and mental issues in terms of his personal life. And they could not have hired him. He was a liability. He was a liability. And also, he was not represented. He had no agent. Well, this is a SAG-AFTRA production. You can't hire actors who don't have representation. So, and I don't even know if he was he still a SAG-AFTRA member? I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if he let it lapse, and I don't know if he's still paying his dues or not. I have no idea. But I know he had no representation. So those two things alone, he's a liability because he's, oh my God, like, holy shit. And he doesn't have rep. So they could not have, and even if he had rep, even if he had rep, they would not have hired him. He's a liability. And so now that's not a personal attack on Brian. I'm sure I would like to think that he's mature enough to say, no, I get it. No, it's true. It's true. You know, I mean, you know, they couldn't take that risk. And that's why they didn't hire him, because he hadn't been acting in a long time. He's a liability. He doesn't have representation. Why? What? No, we don't have time to deal with that. You know, so that's why. I don't know where he is now and what he's like now. But will he be at the 45th? He might be, you know, he might be invited, because that's a situation where the liability is not huge. If he doesn't show up, well, he just doesn't show up, you know, and the convention just says, you know, sorry, folks, Brian couldn't be here. Or if he has to cancel, like, you know, a week before, you know, they'll put up a posting. Sorry, folks, Brian could. I mean, conventions do that kind of shit all the time. They are prepared for that. They anticipate that a guest may have to cancel for whatever reason. So he's less of a liability at a convention than he is, you know, on a movie set. So I think it's possible. They may reach out to him and be like, hey, Brian, just kind of seeing where you're at. How you feeling? You know, do you want to be a part of this? Or he may not. He may be asked, and he may be like, no, fuck you guys. You didn't fucking hire me for Halloween Kills, so fuck you. No. And it's kind of like, okay, well, you clearly don't understand why. You know, it's not personal, Brian. It's not like we hate your guts and that's why you weren't hired. No, it has nothing to do with that. Anyway. Slasher in Suit says, if Dave is going, I'm going. I'm assuming you're talking about me, unless you're talking about another Dave in the chat. Yeah, so like I said at the top of the show, I'm hoping to go. I would love to go. But in and around that time, we'll be in, hopefully anyway, like I said, if we can raise the money on our Indiegogo campaign, on May 1st for It's Me Billy Chapter 2, just keeping it out there, we'll be well into pre-production at that point on Chapter 2. So it depends on how busy I am and what's going on. So I'd love to go, but there's no guarantees yet. We're still a little far away yet for me to make that decision. If I didn't have a movie I was shooting or hoping to shoot this year, then yeah. But it's a bit tricky. So we'll see. We'll see. Super chat from Josh McKenna sends in $4.99, says, what safety rules do filmmakers have to follow? I'm still confused on the Alec Baldwin tragedy and how that happened. It seems like incompetence. Well, there's a lot of rules and regulations that are implemented on a film set for the different departments. Specifically as it relates to Alec Baldwin. Yeah, it's a very tragic situation. The armor, who is the one who is in charge of the weapons and the guns specifically, they are, if you are using a real gun, which a lot of movie sets do, a lot of movie sets, and I'm leaning heavily against this because I don't think it's necessary anymore, but a lot of movie sets will use real guns with blanks. And the reason they do that is to get the kickback. You can add a muzzle flash, you can add smoke, you can add all that. Now, years ago, you couldn't, but now, especially in 2023, you can add all those things in post-production. It's like VFX 101. I've done it, and I'm not a VFX guy. It's when you know how to do it, it's not hard. The thing you don't get is the kickback. Now, I've never shot a gun, but I've talked to people that have and have demonstrated it. And I'm sure some of you have in here. And there's a kickback, right? Sometimes there's a big one and sometimes it's kind of small. If you're used to it, you're prepared for it. So it's probably not as bad. But there's an authenticity to the feel of having a real gun in your hands, but shooting blanks, right? Although they're blanks, you still get the kickback and you still get the, all the shit that goes with it. And a lot of actors, especially old school actors, maybe like your Stallones or, people who were, action stars of the 70s and 80s, kind of like that thing. But it is the job of the armor to open up, like there is somebody on set that specifically opens up the gun. They look at it, they make sure it is blanks. They then take the prop to the actor. They open it in front of the actor so the actor can see there's nothing in there. There's no live rounds. It's blanks, right? Then the armor hands it to the actor, and then they take the gun, and they're supposed to open it up. Even though they just saw it, they themselves should open it up, examine it, look at it themselves all the time. That's supposed to happen all the time. How a live round ended up in that gun, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not an expert on this. I just am baffled. Now, do I think that Alec Baldwin intentionally shot the DP? No, of course not. No, I don't think that. Now, people label him a certain way because of his past history and because of the kind of guy he is. And, Hollywood is like that, right? You put a guy in that kind of a situation who's got kind of a bad boy, dickish reputation anyway, and nobody feels, oh, fuck it. But you put somebody like who's beloved, I don't know, let's say somebody who's absolutely adored and beloved in that kind of a situation, like Tom Hanks. Say it was Tom Hanks. Right? All of a sudden, it's a bit of a different feel. Oh, well, of course he would. That's Tom Hanks. He would never do that. It's Tom Hanks. He's America's dad. But of course, you put Alec Baldwin in that kind of situation. Oh, fuck, of course, Alec, he's a fucking dick. Yeah, I probably did it on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, so do I think he did it on purpose? No, I don't think he did it on purpose. But something happened. And obviously, does it look like he's trying to weasel his way out of the city? He's not helping himself by some of the things he said either. That is true. But do I think he thought to himself, hey, this has got a live round in it, I'm going to fucking shoot the DP? No, of course not. Of course not. That live round should never have been there. But did they not check it? Like, that's the thing too. Did they not check it? Like, at the very least, you see, here's the thing that blows my mind. The actor should open it up as well and look. Right after being shown, the actor should also do it. 100%. But even if the actor, and I'm sure sometimes they don't because they're just going on the word of the armor. I'm sure. How did she miss it? How did the armor miss it? Did she not look? How did you miss it? You had one fucking job. Blows my mind. So yes, there are rules and regulations and massive safety protocols for this kind of thing. I'm at the point now where it's like, why are we using real guns? I mean, I get it. I understand it. That's a rhetorical question, but we got to figure out a different way. In today's world with today's technology, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way we can, find a happy medium here so nobody gets killed. It's crazy stuff, Josh. It's crazy stuff. Movie Chat More Part 2 sends in £5. Thanks, Richard. Says, would you rather work on screen with Harrison Ford or directed on screen by Steven Spielberg? Also, you're still the legend, Dave. Awesome stuff. Thanks, Richard. I would say probably work on, well, it depends what my role is with Harrison Ford. And I guess it would depend on what my role is in a Steven Spielberg movie. But let's just say that I am co-starring with Harrison Ford and I am starring in a movie directed by Steven Spielberg. Can it be a movie that I'm co-starring in with Harrison Ford directed by Steven Spielberg? No. I'm going to say working with Harrison Ford. I'm going to say starring in a movie, co-starring in a movie with Harrison Ford where we have equal screen time. Like I'm not just in the movie in the background, or I have one line, like his first film in 1966, I think it was, Dead Heat on a Merry-Go-Round, paging Mr. Ellis, paging Mr. Ellis. That was his very first, he's on screen for 8 seconds, right? As long as it's not that, I mean, if it's that, then I would rather go over to the Spielberg film. But if I'm co-starring with Ford and we have equal screen time, fuck yeah. You got to, I have to anyway. As much as I love Spielberg and he's my favorite director and I would give anything to be in a Spielberg movie. Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Between those two, I think I might have to, I think I might have to do that. But you know what? I mean, ask me on a different day and it all depends, right? Because really it's difficult to say because, well, what are the movies? What are the projects? What's the movie that Spielberg is doing? What's the movie I'm in with Ford, right? What's my role, right? There's a lot of variables that, would affect my decision. There are a lot of variables that would affect my decision. If I'm just in the background, I have one line saying, "Oh, excuse me, sir. Oh, but I'm in a movie with Harrison Ford." Then I would probably choose the other thing. It all depends. It all depends. Gary sends in £5. Thanks, Gary. It says, I don't know how you managed to stop yourself from laughing when you had the cast on your head. I feel like some people were trying to make you laugh. The cast on my head? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Gary. The cast on my head? Do you mean when I was getting my face cast as Freddy Krueger? That's what, 3 years ago? That's 3 years ago and 20 pounds heavier, Dave. I think that's what you're talking about. I'm not sure what else you're talking about, but I think that's what you're talking about. Sky Punk Fan 1991 sends in $4.99 and says, I met you at the last convention in 2018 and we talked about how bad Halloween 5 was and got a picture together on the coolest, one of the coolest moments of my life. Well, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. I can't make a connection based on your screen name, but I have no doubt that we did because you have the photographic evidence. That's really cool. Yeah, I met a lot of people that day. It was so cool to meet so many different people and to be one of the coolest moments of your life. That's pretty cool, man. Me? That's pretty cool. I will say that's pretty cool. And I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, I met all sorts of people that day. And everybody was so, like I said, I know that I'm an acquired taste for some. I know there's some people out there that don't like me. I mean, they don't know me. So what they don't like is just, my YouTube persona. But I know there were probably some people who were like, hey, there's that Dave McRae. No, don't fucking go up. He's a fucking loser. Can't stand that guy. McRae. But thankfully, I didn't meet any of those people. Everybody that came up to me was really nice and really polite and just wanted to shoot the shit for, 5 minutes or whatever. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I was so pleased with the fans and how nice people were. And that's really cool because that wouldn't happen to me. I mean, it might happen to me, I guess, at a regular convention or a horror, but because it's Halloween centric, right? And I'm a Halloween channel. So there's so, it was, like I was meeting everybody, or I was meeting so many people every like 5 seconds. It was like everybody was coming. It was really cool. It was really cool. So if you're watching this, everybody who came up to me in 2018, I appreciate you and thank you for saying hi. I really appreciate it. And if I'm able to go to the 45th, don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Come on up and say hi again. I'd love it. Be great. Be great. All right. Okay. We are time. It's like the MMA. Bruce Buffer. That is going to do it for this little, I was going to say Q&A, but not really. I guess it was. Yeah, I guess we kind of did a Q&A at the end there, but that's going to do it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, if you're watching after the fact, or even if you're watching live right now, comment below and let me know your thoughts on the 45th anniversary Halloween convention happening at the end of September, beginning of October this year, 2023 in Pasadena, California at the Pasadena Convention Center. Have you ever been? Did you go to the 40th? Did you go to the 35th, the 30th, the 25th? Let me know in the comment section below if you will be there and how excited you are and who you want to meet. Who you hope will be there. If you want to follow me on social media, you can. There are my links right there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All my links are in the description. Check them out until your heart's content. And when your heart is content, check them out again. And also, a reminder again, my voiceover workshop is this Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each day. Massively discounted rate. I'm only offering to my viewers $125 US for both days. $125 for 6 hours with me. If you've ever wanted to learn about voiceover, if you are interested in it, if you are an aspiring voice actor, if you want to know how to get into the business, if you want to know what to do, if you want to learn about that side of the entertainment industry, this Saturday and Sunday, we are going to be talking about it and getting into it. So if that interests you, follow the link. Can't fucking speak. I'm a voice actor. I can't speak. It's because I talk so much. Follow the link to my Facebook page in the description below and send me a DM there, and then we'll get you signed up. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you can't this time around, if this time around is successful, hopefully I'll do it again in the future as well, which will be a lot of fun. Andrew Stevens, my man, Andrew Stevens, one of my great mods, sends in $10 at the buzzer. Bzzz. 0.12 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and Andrew comes in with a swish, a 3-pointer at the buzzer. Appreciate that, Andrew. Thanks so much. Really appreciate that. And thanks to my great mods, of course, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, Chris Baber, Cody Snyder, and Andrew Stevens. Thank you for doing what you do. I really, really appreciate it. So have a great rest of your Thursday. This is Thursday, right? Yeah, it is. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and I will talk to you all soon. Alrighty. Cheers.